The week before I start my medical school, that was not so long ago, I was so happy and excited that with a friend, we used to hang out in the hall of the medical school in Marseille, France. One afternoon, we saw that there will be a conference given in the evening by Professor Henri Gastaud, a famous neurologist in France. We asked if we can attend to the conference, and they say yes, so we just go there and sit and listen. This evening, Professor Gastaud was talking about a new device that allows to record eye movement. That was in 1974, not so long ago after the first publication on the subject by Yarbus in 1967 in a book called Eye Movement and Vision. At that time, I didn't know that much about neurology. I was more involved in card tricks. And I found this device fantastic to maybe know if one of my friends chooses a card or just look at the card, maybe I can guess which card he looked. Beside that, I was very impressed with the thing that you can record something as personal, as private, that my vision. I've been drawing and painting since I'm a kid, like every kid, but I never stop. I love medicine, I love science, so it became natural that I become a physician during the day and a painter most part of the night, not every night. I always think that multitasking is not such a good thing, so I never did both tasks at the same time. But maybe I did some good to some of the collectors that follow me all over the world. 20 years ago, the eye tracking came back to my mind. Every time I go to a museum, I'm asking the question why I'm attracted to this painting, to this zone. What's going on during this encounter between the viewer and, in fact, the viewer's retina? As we know, the retina is an extension of the brain. And on the other side, the paint that the painter put on the canvas with his hand, his arm, his brain. In fact, it's the meeting between two brains, the viewer's brain and the artist's brain. So, first question we have to answer is why the eye is moving. Eye is moving because we have two types of photoreceptors in the retina, the cones and the rods. We see sharp through the cones. And we have a tiny zone in the retina called the fovea, which is made only with cones. So if you want to see something sharp, you have to put in line the object, your eye, and the fovea. And if you want to see something else sharp, you have to move your eye. This is why the eye is moving. Next step is, if I want to see what's going on during this encounter, we have to know how long do we stay in front of a work of art, in front of painting. So I went to the Cantini Museum in Marseille, and I chose a specific exhibition, a small exhibition, Matisse Picasso, with only 12 paintings, 10 of Matisse and 2 large paintings of Picasso. Those paintings were from the Museum of l'Orangerie in Paris. So we can imagine that if somebody get a ticket to see this exhibition, he might want to see the paintings. It's not like if you're going to the Louvre or in a big museum and you want to see the Mona Lisa and you're going to walk through rooms and you don't pay attention to the paintings on the wall. Here, they want to see it. So I sat and recorded 100 visitors, and the mean time of observation was 12 seconds. That's very short. And you have to divide sometimes the 12 seconds in 3 because people are looking for 3, 4, 5 seconds the painting. They're looking down to the card, 4 seconds, and then another glance at the painting and they walk. I saw visitors stay 0 seconds in front of painting. I saw a young lady stay 4 minutes in front of a Matisse painting. 30% of our brain is dedicated to vision. That might seem a lot, but if we compare to the macaque, to the chimpanzee, to the monkey, it is 60%. Sure, there is the areas of language which make this difference, but you're going to see that things can go very fast. In 12 seconds might be a long time. Let's look how it works with the chimpanzee. Before the numbers get masked, it's 210 milliseconds. They do 80% of good answer with 9 digits. It falls down to 40% in human with 5 digits. We have a device that allows us to record eye movement. The subjects I'm going to show you were using this type of device, a screen, where the painting is displayed on the screen. But today you have also glasses that allows you to walk around and have the same results. How it works, the eye tracker is standing in ultra-red light that makes a reflection on the eye, and then there's a camera that catch this reflection, and every 2 milliseconds the camera knows exactly where the eye is, and you can have, after a phase of calibration, filtration, you have the scan path of where your eye is going. The eye is moving by saccades. You're going from one point to another point just to put the thing in front of the fovea, as we said before. That's very fast. That goes 20 milliseconds to 40 milliseconds. And during this movement, you are totally blind, otherwise you will feel dizzy. Then the eye stops. In fact, it doesn't stop, but that's what it's called fixation. And that's here that the eye is catching information to be given through the optic nerve to the brain in the visual areas. The length of a fixation is around 250 milliseconds. I'm going to show you 3 recordings in 3 paintings of eye tracking. The first painting is painting of Diego Velázquez, The Surrender of Breda, painting in 1635 and 34, 45, they don't know. And this painting is in the Museum of the Prado in Madrid. What is it? It's the end of a battle. The Spanish army want to recover the town of Breda in the Spanish Netherlands. And here you have Justin of Nassau, who's giving back the keys of the town to the General Spinola. Velázquez imagined this scene never happened, but that was the end of this war. And he just wants to show us that it's a friendly encounter. The Spanish army was impressed by the courage of the Dutch. And you see here the General Spinola putting his hand on the shoulder of Justin of Nassau, preventing him to kneeling. Let's look at the recording. here you have all the fixation with the numbers, and here you have what is called the areas of interest. Have you seen how the eye is landing in the painting? It gets right in the center of the painting and making saccades between the two men in the middle. In fact, if you have a picture with characters inside, you will be attracted by the faces, mostly the eyes, and then the mouth. But here you're making a lot of saccades between the two men as if you want to understand what's going on. The second thing is that your eyes are attracted by contrast. And here the men in white really steal the time of observation. When it's in red in the areas of interest, that means that 100% of the subjects have seen this zone. The third thing is at this stage of vision, the eye and the brain is making classification, organization, like the Gestalt law of symmetry, continuity, and so on. You see the horse, and without conscience, your eye is jumping to the other horse just because they belong to the same category. Same thing with the spears, the Spanish spears on the right, very vertical. You look at the spears and you jump then to the spears of the Dutch army. But as you notice, there is a white paper on the right corner, and nobody seen this paper. Second painting. It's a very stressing painting because we are just before the shooting. Francesco Goya, the 3rd of May, 1808. What is the story behind? Napoleon put his brother Joseph to the throne of Spain. That leads a revolt on the 2nd of May. That's another painting of Goya. And the next day, the French army executed the rebels. Goya divides his painting in two. On the right side, there is the French army in the dark, and the Spanish people are on the left in the light of the lantern. He chose to put the men in white and the dead body right at the golden ratio, which is known to attract the glance. He also wants to give us two connotations. A patriotic connotation with the color he chose for the pen of the condemned man here in yellow, and with the red of the blood on the ground, it's here to remind us the Spanish flag. And also another connotation, a religious connotation, with the man with the arms in the shape of a cross and the monk right beside him praying. And the eye is going all around, but as you see in the areas of interest, you look and you stare at the faces, the dead man on the ground, the condemned men, and all others. Last one. In 1927, Matisse is in Nice, and he reproduced sceneries as he have seen in Algeria and Morocco, and he put this naked woman laying down the odalisque. It's interesting how we look at nudity. If you ask the subject who have seen this painting, and you ask, what did attract your glance? Woman and men will answer the breast of the odalisque. And in fact, sure, the breasts have been seen, but it's mostly the face. Certainly that if I know that I'm recorded, I'm not going to stay too long on this zone, maybe, because I know that will be seen. But anyway, when you ask the question, people said for 80% for the woman and 30% for the man, the breast of the odalisque. On the other side, if you ask, have you seen the vase, the flower in the background? 5 subjects will say no. And in fact, if you're looking at the recording, they have a lot of fixation on the vase. So you see that sometimes the eye and the brain are not in phase. We have a lot to learn by the way we're looking at art. But let me tell you that there is no recipe to create a masterpiece. That will be playing at another level in this connection between two brains. If emotion will rise, maybe you can be happy of what you have done. Let me give you an advice. Next time you're going to a museum, just feel free to let your eye wander in the canvas. Feel free to scan without knowing the story of the painting. Let the artist be the guide, taking your eye and show you his work or her work as he wishes. And we've always said, maybe we can understand that many artists are not afraid of AR-generated art, because at the heart of any artistic experience, there is a connection between two human beings. Thank you.